Now, we start in Washington, where congressional leaders appear to be close to a coronavirus relief deal. But it won't happen by tomorrow, so it looks like lawmakers won't be leaving to go home for the holidays yet. Here's what Majority Leader Mitch McConnell had to say earlier today.
And a bipartisan, bicameral agreement appears to be close at hand. The outline that I've been discussing with Democratic leader Speaker Pelosi and Leader McCarthy would get another huge dose of bipartisan support out the door as fast as possible. We've yet to nail down every detail, but in broad strokes, we've been discussing the targeted second round of job-saving Paycheck Protection Program that Republicans have sought since last summer.
Bloomberg's Anna Edgerton, our congressional reporter, joins us now. Anna, thank you for joining us. And what are the final sticking points on the coronavirus relief deal? We've been at this for a while.
Yes, that clip that you played from McConnell actually sounds quaint to me now at 4:32 because this morning it was true. I felt like they were close to a deal, and now it seems like these sticking points are just really complicating things. You know, there are a few things that they're looking at, including whether or not they should end the Federal Reserve's emergency lending program. That's something that Republicans have wanted to draw down and Democrats want to keep open as an option for the Biden administration. They're also looking at federal matching for what FEMA pays out for pandemic-related disasters. Democrats want 100% of matching. Republicans say that's a backdoor way to get funding to state and local governments. There are other things like an eviction moratorium if they have adequate renter assistance, and it's just like all of these nitty-gritty details that are holding up this really massive package.
One big thing I know consumers were looking at was supplemental unemployment insurance benefits. Where did we land on that so far?
So it looks like there's going to be $300 per week in supplemental uninsurance payments, and that I think is solidly in the deal. That's not being negotiated. What's being held up now is just, you know, some of the nitty-gritty details, and the broad strokes, like McConnell said this morning, are pretty much finalized at this point.
Were there any specifics of how small businesses will be helped out this time around?
There's going to be, I think, about $275 billion for the Paycheck Protection Program. That was, of course, the popular program that gave loans, forgivable loans to small businesses. So that's going to be beefed up. And there are some other options for workers to kind of keep them connected to their employers so that they don't sever that employee-employer relationship.
Now, I know that there were two other big sticking points. It was aid to state and local governments, as well as lawsuit liability protection. Where did the two sides land on that?
Those two provisions are not going to be in here. And the idea was that this is going to be a measure that's so urgent that we just need to get out the door with everything that we can agree on. Those two provisions were left out, but now Republicans are saying that Democrats are trying to use some other provisions as a kind of backdoor way to get the funding for state and local government that's not going to be explicitly in the bill.
Now, I hear that leaders are planning to pass this pandemic relief bill in a different way. They're attaching it to another bill. Why the difference this time around?
So it's kind of the last train leaving the station, if you will. It's the last must-pass bill of the year, and that just makes it easier for Congress to act on. What we're looking at now, however, is that they might not have it done in time before federal funding runs out at midnight on Friday. So we could actually see a partial government shutdown over the weekend.
That was actually my next question. And remind people, what are some of the things that happens when there's a government shutdown?
So a partial shutdown over the weekend actually wouldn't be concretely a huge deal, but it's a terrible signal to be sending because you have, more than 4,000 Americans dying per day of this coronavirus disease, and then you have others who have lost their jobs. And so the fact that that Congress can't do very much the bare minimum to keep the government open just sends a terrible signal to the American people.
All right. Well, Anna Edgerton, pardon me. We're going to keep updated on this, and we really appreciate you for joining us.
The biggest stories the moment they happen from around the globe. Subscribe to Bloomberg Quick Take now for insight in an instant.